Veronica EQ here for you today, and I'm going into why on our awakening paths do we tend to get drawn to so many different types of crystals and stones. What is that? Why do we have that calling to them when before they were just rocks and you may not have cared as much? Or if you were like me, I was a rock hound at a very young age. But rocks, crystals in particular, are actually very important for us physiologically. It's why we're attracted to them. It's why when we become a little bit more aware and sensitive to energies, there are certain ones we're attracted to more at certain times in our life versus others. Because we ourselves as a species are actually becoming more crystalline. Now, I learned this at a very young age. I was 13, 14 in that age category. And it just weirded me out when I heard that. I was like, what does that mean? We're becoming more crystalline. Like I was thinking like crystal skin, like we're gonna have blue, white crystal skin. Not exactly. So as a species, as we're evolving, we are actually getting taller. And you can notice this when you go into really old buildings. Visit a building 100 years ago and you're going to feel like a giant, whether you are or not. It's a very fascinating study of our structure is getting larger. So what is compensating in that is a very specific crystalline tissue called fascial tissue. Because our muscles are not enough to support us, we actually have fascial tissue that girdles the muscles and weaves through the whole body. So like on your calf, it connects from your ankle to your knee, correct? But our fascial tissue will not only connect from like our feet up through our calf, up through our knee and our leg, but to our lower back and upwards. And it can be seen in a couple of ways if you want to envision it in the body. One is kind of like a spider web. So if you have a lower back injury down here and it's pulling on that web, you're probably going to feel the tension in your shoulder wherever that piece is. Or a really incredible friend of mine who works specifically with this tissue, what she explains it as is if you can kind of envision an orange pith. Like you peel an orange and you have all that white stuff between the peel and the orange. And even throughout the orange, you have all of that white stuff and you end up eating quite a bit of it. Well, that is like our fascial tissue, kind of like cotton candy, if you would, throughout our body. And that fascial tissue is amazing. It's so surprising. So as we're getting taller, it's helping us grow because the taller we are, the harder it is if we fall. We need to have extra support. And we have more fascial tissue now than our grandparents did, for example. And this fascial tissue has the same piezoelectric frequency as, you guessed it, crystals. That is how and why we're becoming more crystalline beings. And this tissue is actually a very interesting combination of almost like a plasma versus it's still liquid, but it has a little bit more form. It's almost like that fourth form of water in more of a plasma state. And it has memory. It actually has an incredibly fast neural net itself. And any massage therapist with their salt will tell you that they massaged somebody and like really gotten into a spot and that person will just like bust out laughing and recall a memory at a funeral where they shouldn't have been laughing so they suppressed it. Or they'll bust out crying in a moment when they couldn't cry and they wanted to. So when you hear that the body has memory, one of the major ways, one of the pieces that is storing that memory within the body, not just the brain, is our fascial tissue. So if you ever go into a crystal shop and you're particularly drawn to a crystal, you are vibrating at that same frequency with that crystal. And that's why, because your fascial tissue is communicating to you that that stone is particularly important to you. And of course, as we grow and evolve and change our frequencies and vibrations, and that gets into a different rabbit hole, the stones we're attracted to will change. So no, do you actually need stones if you're on your awakening path? No. Are they fun? Absolutely. And this will give you a little bit more context as to why you're attracted to them. Yes, it's deeply spiritual because it's a form of communication with Mother Earth, a very primal, beautiful aspect of Mother Earth. And there's also a very practical, grounded side to it. So when you're on your path of your awakening, or you're well beyond it and just wanting to know, why is it that I have this attraction? That's why. So I hope you find that next crystal and enjoy.